Oh, boy. All right, guys, we're good. We can stop theorizing on what we need to do. Everything, we're doing fine. We're actually having a very good week. It's just today's sick. Been shit. The purpose, so here's what they're trying to do. Or this is what they say.
Sure.
So again, getting back into this is the equity report for Sartell schools. These Equity Alliance Minnesota, groups like this, and they have them in Florida and all over the country, they come into your school and they do what's called an equity audit. They find out if the black kids are falling behind, and if so, then that's racist. It's a very unscientific method because it doesn't take into account the biggest thing in education, which is, are the parents actively engaged in the kids' education? If the parents aren't engaged, the kids are going to fall behind. Educators have been saying this for years. We can't be with the kids all the time. Most of the learning has to be done at home.
See, I always thought that was bullshit.
See, I think
because like for me as a kid, right? My mom was a terrible tutor and instructor. I learned I would do all my homework at school. I would do almost all my what I would do. I mean, I was a weirdo though. Like in high school, I would literally be doing homework from one class in another class. And so when I came home, I never really dealt with it. I never really interacted with it, and I got straight B's my whole
really? You were a good student?
Yeah.
I don't mean to say that insulting.
You know why? You know why though?
Why?
No B's, no keys.
Oh, you couldn't drive if you didn't keep the
Funny
B's
is
up.
I was like a C.
Well, isn't that your mom being involved in your education?
I was a C to a D student up until when I turned 15, and the rule was always no B's, no keys, and then from 15 to when I graduated, straight B's.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's kind of your parents being involved in your education.
Well, I mean, yeah, bribing me, I guess, but she wasn't there to go over school curriculum or we never really talked about school or anything like that. My mom, like I said, she's not a very good teacher. And so she'll, which is ironic because she was a teacher, but she gets mad and then just starts yelling about come on, you know what this problem is. I'm I'm not my mom. I love my mom to death, but she is a high school dropout that has a master's degree in mathematics.
Huh? How?
Right? What?
Oh, got her GED and went to college? Or?
Got a GED and then got a master's degree in mathematics.
Your mom might be the most accomplished GED of all time.
I think she might be, dude. While raising a kid, as a single mom. But the other thing and
being Italian, so an inferior race.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, but so whenever we'd sit down, for math specifically, I remember the shit. 2 times I tried to get my mom's help with it, and she's like, "No, it's you know how to do it." And it's look, not all of us can look at it and just see the formula of pi playing out in our eyes.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
You were like Goodwill Hunting's girlfriend. He's like, I can just.
I don't know what you're saying.
Some people I see a piano, I see a box and some wires, and some people see Mozart.
Right. Right. And that's it was crazy. So what I did as a kid is I always just kept school away from home. So this idea that parents need to be more involved, maybe that's true for most people, but in my personal experience, if you want to educate yourself, you will. I mean, I've learned more in my life just by being curious about something and Googling it than I ever did in school.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand why kids can't all pull straight A's right now. Because everything is on the internet and it's at your fingertips, and anything you want to learn is right there in front of you.
Well, some people just aren't curious. That's the thing that I've never understood. I'm a very curious person. When I hear something I don't know or something that I think I know, I want to look into it. That's just who I am.
But you know what? Most people aren't. You're right. Most people aren't curious.
Yeah.
Most people, it's just more convenient for them for someone to tell them something, and they go, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is easier. Phoenix says, I'm a teacher. Number one indicator of student success is parents' socioeconomic status. Okay, well, the Equity Alliance of Minnesota would beg to differ. It's all race. And even if they don't find, in this report, an immediate racial problem in your school, they'll just tell you it's because you're wrong and you're thinking wrong. And like I said, this whole report was a giant gaslight on this school system.
Yeah.
So they would think they're racist. So this is their stated purpose. The purpose of this report is not to reach a conclusion. Rather, it is to raise the collective level of awareness about equity and access within your institution, and more importantly, provide the evidence necessary to support institutional changes in culture, practice, and policy. And who do you think's going to provide the support for the institutional changes?
Probably them.
I'm going to guess it's probably them. So, who is Equity Alliance Minnesota? Eliminating gaps in E through 21 educational opportunity and achievement. Again, unless you're in the parent's home, you can't do that. Through collaborative learning and advocacy, be the leading force for systemic educational equity, and integration. By the way, systemic is becoming a word that's used for we don't know what the hell the problem is, so we'll just put this word in there.
Systemic is a myth.
Yes.
Change my mind, as Crowder would say.
Yeah, like, as far as I'm concerned, systemic just replaces the term personal responsibility.
Or systemic also just, it's like what about, like systemic is a whataboutism. That's what it is. It's like, oh, these problems are systemic. Like, technically aren't all problems systemic? That's kind of like,
right, everything's a system.
That's what I'm saying. So everything is systemic. It's actually, you know what it is? It's the equivalent of some are saying.
Yeah, systemic is some are saying. It's just, well, the problem is systemic.
Science.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, it's way more like the science.
Yeah.
Because you just say it and people go, oh, it has weight. Like there's a weight that the term systemic has not earned that people just give to it because it sounds smart, you know, like the science. So anyway, here were the findings of their research. Now, for those of you who don't live in Minnesota, the Sartell School District is a top 25 school district in the state of Minnesota. It's the best outside of the cities. Sartell is amazing. And this is where a conspiracy theorist could make me vulnerable. And they could go, Aaron, look, they're trying to take a school district that should be emulated and copied by inner city and struggling places, but instead they're going to make them feel shitty about how well they do. They're going to drag them down to the middle with everyone else and make them drag everyone down in the name of this educational equity. Mm-hmm. Is this the system purposely trying to do this to people? And you go, you know what? I mean, yeah, we got our answer first and then we gathered the data, but I mean, I'm not saying it's the only explanation that checks out, but it does make you think. Systemic equity for students, SES, is a shared articulated vision for the system and systematic equality for students of color. When a system has collaboratively created, clearly articulated, and officially adopted its vision for equity, its stakeholders can aim at common goals. Systemic equity for students in highly functioning systems is defined by a culture where actions, practices, and purposes align with the common vision.
What the hell does any of that mean?
It's bullshit.
Yeah, God, that's stupid.
It's utter bullshit. It sounds like one of those fast-talking street hustlers.
Sounds like somebody selling snake oil elixir.
And the propriety of the performance of the proletariat will be propagated amongst the perpetual propagation of the people.
Get your genuine snake oil elixir. Systemically made snake oil elixir.
Well, this snake oil is different from others because of its systemic properties.
We also only use black snakes.
And they moan. Indicators of...
We get more juice because they're bigger.
Indicators of systemic equity can be found through interviews, surveys, observations, and reviews of policies and practices. So check this shit out. The staff of color in Sartell did not feel that there were systemic racial inequities in the school at a higher rate than the white employees of the school district. So when that backfired on this group, they say, hey, we gather this through surveys, and the survey says this. They fucking gaslight the employees into thinking it's because of their experience and that they've been brainwashed.
That's what they do, though. That's what this whole, like, there's this weird, like, momentum shift / movement going on, right? Where they basically want everybody, they put you in this position. It's like we talk about with the liberal culture where it's like you kiss the ring, you can't ever stop kissing the ring, right? Everyone, we have this weird phobia of isms. Nobody wants to be a racist or a homophobic or any of this like label. So what happens is that they come in, they give you a bunch of like backwards talk that you don't really understand, but then they kind of imply, hey, if you don't really subscribe to this, you're a racist. You're like, oh shit, I guess it's systemically a problem.
Right,
and
exactly.
That's how they do it. They put you over the barrel, and then it's like it's like the Salem witch trials, man. They throw you in a lake, and if you float, you're a racist.
And then if you drown, oh, he wasn't a racist, but he's dead now.
Right.
Of the dimensions analyzed, SES survey results yielded the lowest percentage of the Sartell St. Stephen stakeholders that felt the criteria of the dimension had been met, averaging at only 39%.
You should be showing people
responses.
These like just horrible graphics.
You guys can look at
this. Scroll up though. Show them that like weird clip art one.
This
like
one?
That, and then like one more up.
Well, I want to get to
that. Like, look at that. Look at that. Just look at the layout. Like, this is totally made by some square on a PowerPoint.
So of the dimensions analyzed, The survey results yielded the lowest percentage of the stakeholders that felt the criteria of the dimension had been met, averaging at only 39% positive responses. So they come up with the questions of what the criteria are. They come up with a criteria they pulled out of their ass, and which is designed. They go, oh, schools don't do this, this, and this. So we're going to say that this, and this is the criteria. Then we're going to ask the schools if they do that, and they're going to go, oh my God, no, we don't do that. Right. And they're going to go, you only had 39% of these criterias installed. Well, if you pay us $25,000 this year, we'll install the other criterias. It is such bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it is designed to make you fail and then designed to make you bring them in.
Yep.
The student responses were the highest among the three groups surveyed. Some students highlighted opportunities to engage in collaborative learning as a reason for their positive responses. However,
as you do.
However, 66% of students responded that they had not directly engaged in any activities designed to teach about race, culture, or understanding of others. Because that's not the point of fucking school. Sorry for the F-bomb. The point of school is reading, writing, history, all of this shit. You're not supposed to have a class about race or culture or one race or this, that, or the other thing, because we're all supposed to be in it together, remember?
It's like religion, right? Like when they teach religion in school, they have to teach all the religions equally. That's a thing they have to do.
Right. Similarly, 67% of the staff, leadership, and community members responded that they had not been involved in creating or revisiting the district's vision for equity. That's because they have to teach the kids, and then the kids have to be continue to be educated at home, and they have to bring their homework in, do it. I mean, some of this responsibility is on the kids and on the homes. It's not all on the school. This is indicative of inconsistent communication about both the goals or it's the fact that it's school kids and they're not going to listen a lot of the time. The district may not be consistently communicating what has already been achieved and what lies ahead. Oh, but don't worry, Corey. That's about to change because this group will fix it.
Oh.
For the low fee of...
I was going to say, does it cost money?
Yeah, Long Dong and your girlfriend wants to know who needs a sub. Let's raise our hands in the chat if you want one. The staff demonstrated higher knowledge regarding the equity vision, demonstrating how equity is intertwined with their daily work. What is of note, however, is the variation among staff surveyed. Black, Indian, and person of color certified staff more frequently reported beliefs that there is systemic equity for students. What? So the people of color at Sartell School said, yeah, we have systemic equity for the students here. Like we have...
So this is just white guilt personified.
Oh my God, ready for this part? While the white certified staff reported least frequently. So minorities are sitting here telling you, no, we're cool here. This is a great school district. I got out of the shitty St. Cloud district to come here because the education is better. And then the white staff they got gaslit by this group and went, oh my God, I guess you're right. We really don't do enough here. Check this shit out. You guys want to hear the gaslighting? We just heard that the people of color at the Sartell School District believe they have equity, meaning mission accomplished. Your guys' work is done. You don't need to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you think they just let that go and said, oh, this sounds good, right?
Yeah, no, that's what you do, right?
This may be this may be explained by the fact that pre-existing beliefs about one's perspective of systemic equity, an inability to recognize one's own preconceptions, can contribute to misunderstandings within the community and exacerbate existing division.
So the minorities are too stupid to realize it's not equal.
This is classic liberal bullshit. And again, I'm not this guy to go rabble, liberal bullshit, but once in a while I do. And when I do, it's because shit like this is just smacking you in the face with a shovel. And this is in my backyard. I mean... They're literally, they're telling the minorities you're too stupid to know what's right and wrong.
That's a pretty liberal stance, though. I mean, like, liberals do that all the time. Like, look at how many white ladies tell people, like, black people what they need.
Right. Exactly. No, so this group is saying, obviously, it can't be that we're not needed here, and these black people came to this school district for a reason because it's really, really good and helps them a bunch. No. It's got to be that they're so stupid and beaten down that this racist bullshit they're experiencing, they don't even see as a problem.
Right.
Dude, to disrespect people to that level and then have the gall to call other people racist, whoo, You've got to be a special kind of evil. Student responses similarly varied by both race and school level. As students who move through the system, on average, they become less likely to find that systemic equity exists in their schools. Weird. It's almost like the older they get and the more you pound this bullshit into their head, the more they start to believe it.
Huh.
God, this is... If this school district didn't read this and see what it was, then I've got no faith in the Sartell school district.
They clearly don't. They hired these people.
Oh, and by the way, social equity positive, social equity negative. 9.4%, 11. I don't understand how to read that chart, but let's continue on here. One important consideration when analyzing that data is that pre-adolescent students may not have assembled the same prejudices as older students, and it is difficult to attribute the trend directly to a difference in equity policy. Oh, yeah, it's not us pumping this shit in your kids' heads.
So they're too young.
Right, the kids haven't developed okay. Students in the higher grade levels reported low knowledge and awareness of opportunities for affinity or advocacy groups. They didn't know about us in high school. This is a problem. As 62% of white high school students and 55% of persons of color students said they did not know these groups existed. You know why? Because I bet you most of them didn't think that they needed them.
No. Why would they?
Because they're going to school and having fun with their friends. They're not seeing life through the colored lens that you do. Thank you, Long Dong, for the 5 Tier 1 subs. We appreciate all the support you give to the channel. Wow. Students using the R slur or saying sped or special ed as an insult are never called out even by teachers. Oh, these are student comments. I doubt that. A lot of people have...
So funny. Like, I love censorship, right? Because it's like, it used to be kids would call special needs kids retards.
Yeah.
And then you weren't allowed to do that. And then they're like, oh, you're special ed. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. They're sped. And then, like, it's so funny because, like, they keep banning all these terms. Like, people will always come up with terms to ridicule people. They'll just do it.
Dude, this is...
Look at the short version of simpleton or the short version of cuckold. Yeah. Like, those were just made up words, and now they're banned on this platform.
Fat Boy, thank you for the 2 Tier 1 subs. Guys, thank you for supporting us outside of those hype trains. Means a ton. We do appreciate it. So these were the student comments. And by the way, Corey, do you think that this group in their findings published the student comments that were very positive about racial equity and thought that the school did a great job?
Yeah, for sure. They're here to give a non-biased report, right?
A lot of people have very different views and cannot have a respectful conversation. Oh, boo-hoo, welcome to life. If we are headed in the direction of forced inclusion, you walk a fine line. If you force people to include each other, you give off the impression that people or groups are not welcome, and the only way they are going to be included is through force, and that is not what we are about, one person said. My school is... in fairness, my school is doing a great job and works very hard. But then... people are incredibly racist and homophobic, and students who say hurtful things are not punished. LGBT acceptance is awful here. I feel very unaccepted here since there are so many openly LGBT-phobic people here. So they sprinkle it.
Nobody says that. Nobody walks into a room like, hey, just so you know, I'm LGBT-phobic.
Yeah, I hate all the gays. They're terrible, right? And I doubt that any teacher who hears that goes, well, that's right, son. Take a seat and let's start class.
Welcome to Sartell.
This is such bullshit. And by the way, the one positive they put in there, my school is doing a great job and works very hard. Collectively, the staff responses included a repeated desire to hire more staff of color. So I guarantee guilty white people just going, we're going to hire more black people. Meanwhile, they said in the study, the black people and Latinos and everyone else went, yeah, things are actually pretty rad over here.
Yep.
We like shit here. And the white people like, and by the way, it's the white people who wouldn't say they were voting for Trump. It's that kind of thing too.
Correct.
When they're talking to groups like this, they go, oh yeah, we should absolutely hire more people of color. That's something we should absolutely do. And they don't ever talk about that outside of that group showing up. This is horse shit. What do we have? And then so you scroll down from the findings. Then they did a focus group. I mean, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. It's really long, but I'll put the link. Well, will this link only work in my computer? Google Drive?
Maybe. Do you have the actual link or just the Google?
It was sent to me by somebody.
Yeah,
it was
probably the same person sent it to me. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, you can try.
I don't even know. I can't even get out of here now. What the hell happened? Oh, because I opened this as a link. All right. Well, anyway, you can find the Sartell. We can put the link to the news story in the chat. The Sartell equity audit story here.